everybody? Welcome to another episode of Super Gamer Boys. I am your host and captain and dad, Garrett Morlang, and here in the virtual studio with me is the king of video games, resident superstar, Adrian Holmes. What's up, Adrian?
What?
Oh, sorry.
I can't hear
busy.
you. I'm cranking.
You're busy cranking it out over there.
I'm cranking it. Don't. Sorry. What's going on, fellas?
Not much. I'm glad you could take a couple minutes off just to join us here on the podcast. I know you've just been absolutely obsessed with the
over the
Playdate.
Moon.
Oh, some people would even say orgasmic.
You wouldn't be far off. Imagine a 3-year build-up.
Oh, I've had a 3-year build-up. And sometimes you got to have those things released.
Also joining us tonight on the podcast is the heavyweight podcasting champion of the world, JJ Purdom.
Hey, what's up, boys? Yeah, tonight is like a very special after-school special version, like kind of a late version of the Super Gamer Boys. We're going to be coming at you a little bit different tonight. We've decided to spice things up, not like the naughty Skinamack version of life that Garrett's used to, but he's actually got to be super quiet. So if you guys can't hear Garrett tonight, that's because his boys are up. Mama's away. They're going nuts right now in the other room. And they're acting like demon children as far as what he was just saying moments before. He's
right now.
Video surveillance. Video surveillance.
I'm on surveillance duty. Isn't there there's like a new game that all the YouTubers playing right now, like surveillance duty, or I think it's actually called that, where like you watch these security cameras in these haunted places. Anyways, that's what I feel like I'm doing right now. That's what I feel like I'm doing right now, is watching this haunted room with these two psychotic children that keep moving around.
What you got to watch out for is if you happen to look at the screen and they're both looking at you like through.
That's what I was gonna say. And you see your oldest eye just right there in the middle of it.
The camera
in the lens.
The camera's like mounted up on the ceiling, and all of a sudden it's just like I see his eyes in front of the camera. Like, oh no! It's
time to go. It's time to go.
See ya, guys. I'm out. Oh man, yeah. So as JJ kind of hinted at, I had this whole show planned out, and then we just kind of turned to each other before. We're like, do we want to just like chit chat and hang out tonight? So we are going to answer listener questions. Adrian is going to talk about Playdate.
It'd be even better, just let me talk about Playdate. All right, so look, I'm going to talk about Playdate today. We'll go with what I know. We'll make some stuff up.
Yeah. I'll tell you what you're right about and what you're not right about, okay. And we'll play it like that.
I will be nowhere close about anything other than the cranking thing. I got that cranking thing on point.
Okay.
Because that's actually how I had to like take pictures with my camera when I was growing up back in the old days.
Ah, yes, of course, with the little flash cubes. Yes.
Yeah, because I was the oldest member of the Super Gamer Boys. So we used to actually make people sit there for 16 hours in order to be able to take photos and stuff back then.
The long exposure.
It's an extremely long exposure. Extremely low ISO film. That's just like ISO.
I've been accused so many times of having a
0.0005.
long exposure.
Well, tonight we're not talking about any of the news stories. Maybe, I don't know. We might hit on them just organically, but we are for sure talking about the Playdate tonight. You're going to hear about that and some listener questions. But first, let's give a quick shout out to our Patreon producers, Jr, Bleep Bloop, and Eddie Martin. And also shout out to our Super Gamer sponsors, Julie Bates and Mama Mare. If you want to be awesome just like those folks, you can go over to patreon.com/supergamerboys. Support us over there. As low as $1 a month, where you can get episodes early and ad-free, such as this show right after the recording. I pop that up on the private podcast feed there. Or Super Gamer Book Club. You can get that 2 months early. Go check it out for sure. It's a deal. Speaking of Super Gamer Book Club, the newest episode is Streets of Rage 4 with Eddie Martin with live gameplay. So you can check that out either on the podcast feed if you support us on Patreon, or also support us on Patreon so you can get that YouTube video to actually see the gameplay. The free feed features a Super Mario Odyssey episode with Pocket. Fantastic. And this week, Wednesday, I believe, we're recording What Remains of Edith Finch. We're going to be talking about that.
A more intimate setting is just me and you.
Yeah, it'll be a good one. And it's and if you guys are wanting to play along, or like play the game and listen to the episode later, the game is super short. You can beat it in like 4 hours. So I would definitely recommend it if you want to, kind of stay up to date, with our episodes and kind of know what we're talking about. That way you're not, listening to an episode for a game you've never played. So check it out. It's a short game. You have time to beat it this week if you want to, before the episode comes out Friday. That is, record Wednesday, come out Friday this week.
It's a good one.
We'll talk more about our Patreon later on the show, but first, I also want to give a quick shout out to Jack Sriracha and Yate for allowing us to use their music on our show. We appreciate you. This fine music you hear in the background, that's their stuff. Check it out on Apple Music and Spotify. You can get the link for Spotify down in the description below. Excuse me.
Is Jack that guy who, is he related to the family that came up with that hot sauce stuff? Because, I got to tell you, I really like that sriracha sauce, on everything. It's freaking, you know what I mean?
Stuff.
It's phenomenal. I'm putting it on everything. And, my kids hate it. They really do. Yeah. They're like, dude, Dad, this is fire. It's burning. And I'm like, well, it's more for Dad.
If that's hot, you can't have hot sauce. Sorry.
I like the heat of sriracha because it's not like you're saying, Adrian, it's not super hot. No. But for me,
it's got that little tinge of sweet in it too.
Yeah, that's the thing. For me, I don't like the flavor of sriracha. I don't know. Maybe I haven't tried it in enough things, but I feel like for the most part, it's just the flavor kind of ruins it for me.
But you like Jack Sriracha, the guy who makes the music.
I love Jack Sriracha.
Yeah.
If Jack Sriracha made a hot sauce, I'd probably love it too.
You put that all over bread and eat it. Yeah.
Do you hear that? I don't know if Jack Sriracha's listening to our show, but if they do, make some hot sauce, and I'd love to try it out. Send it down to me. I'd try it out. I'd endorse your hot sauce. All right, should we jump into the mailbag?
Okay, he's still cranking away right now.
Still cranking over. He's busy.
I'm sorry. Yeah, let's go mailbag. Whatever you said.
Okay, here we go. This is from, I think this was the first time we've gotten a question from this person. And you know how they wrote in the question? For all you listeners out there, if you're wondering, you're like, oh, I don't want to sign up for Discord. I don't have Instagram. I don't have Twitter. I don't have social media. But for some reason, you have a YouTube account.
Right.
This person, I'm not saying that's what this person did. I'm just telling everyone else who tries to come up with an excuse, you don't have excuses. You can go to YouTube, leave a comment, leave your question there, and I'll put it on the show. That's what top_rate did over on YouTube. They left a comment with a question, and I commented back and said, thank you so much. I will put this on the next show. So here you go. What is your favorite puzzle game? I've been stuck on Mario Maker 2 one-screen puzzles for a while. Baba's You also broke my brain. So what are some puzzle games that, some of your favorites?
Yeah, I'm going to say I like The Witness quite a bit. The Witness is good. But top game, Baba Is You. That game is absolutely insane. I don't know if you guys have played that game, but...
Absolutely.
Man, it's fun. There's so much to it. It's just, there's a depth to that game. There's so many different puzzles and so many different ways to win and to capture the flag and whatever. And dude, I'm telling you, I have so much fun with that game. My brother owns it, and we go over and we'll do family barbecues and hang out and just kind of laying around on the couch, put on something on the Switch, and dude, cannot tell you how much fun, hours of fun we've had playing that game.
Yeah, for that one, Baba Is You broke, just like Top Rate said, it broke my brain. Same thing for me. At first, it's kind of learning it. I'm it's kind of easy, but it's you immediately realize wow, they're really thinking outside the box in this
way. Yeah.
And then for me anyways, all of a sudden I just hit a wall where the difficulties spike was boom, there. I'm I am not smart enough for this. This is very difficult.
The thing about Baba though, I feel it's not asking you to be smart. It's asking you to break your regular convention. Yep. And, you know what I mean, of thinking. And however you think that this is gonna be solved is the furthest thing from the actual answer.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah. That's true. And it wants you to play around with it. It wants you to try things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And don't sleep on Mario Maker 2 because there is some incredible puzzles in that game. And I brought Witness a little while ago. That's a game that I think I got on PS Plus a few years ago, and I didn't think much of it in the beginning. And then when I gave it a chance again, I just found that I'm like, there is some really cool stuff to it. And it's got a kind of a neat color scheme. So, and if you've got PS Plus and you download it in the future and you never played it, get at it, because that's actually a lot of fun.
Do it.
For me, I mean, I love a good Portal. That's a fun one, classic. But I'm also another classic. I'm just a huge fan of Tetris, like a very basic puzzle game where it's
I'm
like
right there with you. That was one of
Tetris. I've been jamming out on the Puyo Puyo Tetris on Switch. So much fun. I love that. When my parents were in town, like last month, they were visiting. My mom is like a Tetris master. We did 2-player and going back and forth. It was so fun. Just like
she stomped you out.
At first, I was kicking her butt, and then once she got the hang of it, turned right around. Yeah, I was just stomping me. I'm like, okay, this isn't fun anymore. I'm done. Stop it, Mom. Stop. But yeah, Puyo Puyo Tetris on Switch. Check that out. It's always, I feel like it's on sale quite often. I see it pop up. Very fun. I've never played the Puyo Puyo part. That doesn't
Puyo
make
Puyo
any sense.
Is pretty good too.
Okay, it doesn't really make much sense to me. I've heard people love it, but the Tetris side of it, I'm like all about that. Plus, you can play as Sonic, right? I think Sonic's in there. You can.
Yeah, because it's made by Sega.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about Tetris being a puzzle game.
Yep.
Like, duh. It's one of the greatest puzzle games of all time.
Like the original puzzle game, yeah.
Dude, and it still holds up. You could play original Tetris, or you could play like Tetris 99, but you could play the original Tetris right now.
Yeah.
And just have a complete blast with that game.
And waste a ton of time. That game is a time killer.
And it's on everything. I actually have it on a filling right now. I don't know if you know that. You can say it.
That's what that is.
Yeah.
I always wondered why your filling was in the shape of an L. Now it makes sense.
There you go. It does make it hard to fit it into things, but...
Imagine making a Tetris board that's just the inside of JJ's mouth. Like all of a sudden, like Tetris, that'd be like Tetris Effect on PlayStation, like 4K, beautiful on the PS5, and then all of a sudden, like the camera pans down from this,
and it's a hard landscape. 4K render of JJ's face, and then his mouth opens up.
It fades down. Yep, exactly. Super wide. You see his teeth.
Kind of worried. Like I need to brush my teeth and do some whitening before we. You know what I mean?
It's too late. We can it's a digital you. We can just make them white.
Yeah. Okay, well, I like that. I wish I could digital you my stuff right now. Great. But thanks, Top Rate. That was awesome. And thanks for sending it in on YouTube, because that's like a cool
Literally,
cool
you can send us questions anywhere. Send us questions anywhere. I want to hear what Adrian's answers are, if you have any. What are some of your
I do. Mine was Tetris, but my specific one, I think that is the best version of Tetris that's been made so far, is Tetris DS.
Okay.
Tetris DS was one that they made specifically in collaboration with Nintendo. So all the Tetris puzzles, or all the boards, are like old NES games. So there's like a Zelda board, there's a Mario board, there's a Metroid board, and that's how you play the games, is by doing getting the lines, or clearing the lines in the Tetris board. And it's so awesome. They did original music for it based on the games. There's all kinds of different modes. There's like an endless mode. There's a versus mode. There used to be online when it was active. So, that version of Tetris rules. Also, one that I don't hear a lot of people talk about, I don't know if you guys know it, is Bubble Bobble, or Puzzle Bobble.
Bubble Bobble.
I've heard the name. I've never seen the game or played it.
So it's the one where it's all the little colored jewels or bubbles at the top, and then you have one down at the bottom, and you have to aim it one way or the other on the board, and then you shoot yours up to match the color of the other ones at the top. Garrett, if you saw it, you would know exactly what I'm talking about.
It's a classic, Garrett. So even though you're having a hard time picturing it right now, if you're looking it up, which you typically do when you don't know something, and you turn to that side, you're normally Googling it.
I'm looking it up right now. Are you sure that's Bubble Bobble? Because I'm looking at Bubble Bobble right now, and it looks like a platformer with like a little dinosaur dude.
No. Bubble Bobble?
Yes.
Am I thinking of Bubble Bobble or Puzzle Bobble?
Maybe Puzzle Bobble. Let me look at Puzzle Bobble.
Oh, now we're all checking. Maybe it's Balloon Fight.
You're thinking of Puzzle Bobble.
Puzzle Bobble. Okay. The characters from Bubble Bobble are in Puzzle Bobble.
I knew exactly what you were talking about. I thought it was called Bubble Bobble, but I've seen that same game many, many times. I've never played it though. But it was on the
excellent. I love it.
It looks just like what's that other game that exactly like this with the unicorn? Like I don't know. I can't think of the name right now.
Which one is it? Is it from that time period? Because Puzzle Bobble is from the 80s.
It's not. It's not from that. I'm thinking of a newer game, but it was like big on Xbox Arcade. Why can't I think of the name of that? Hang on.
Who's it by? Is it by somebody?
Like, is it maybe by like PopCap? It's like a PopCap Games kind of thing, isn't it?
Peggle.
Peggle.
No.
Yes. Is it? Yes. That's exactly what. So is it kind of like a Peggle?
It's better than Peggle, but Peggle wants to be Puzzle Bobble. I'm just just throwing it out there. And then I guess my last one, it's more of a I guess riddle. No, there's some puzzles. Is the Professor Layton series. I think those have some excellent puzzles.
Yeah.
In them, puzzles, riddles, kind of like homeworky, mathy riddle questions, but they're really well done, and there's a lot of them throughout that series.
Okay. Cool. Well, there you go. There's some more puzzle games for you. Top rate. Go check those out. When Baba Azir is breaking your brain, go try one of those. Give it a break. All right. Sir Prince-a-Lot asks, if you ordered a Playdate, do you have it yet? And if you don't have it yet, are you sad?
I don't know. You tell me, sir. You tell me.
So, yes, Adrian got his, and I do not have mine. and yes, I am sad. I am sad, Sir Prince-a-Lot. So thanks for
Don't worry, Garrett. Your time in the sun will come. Until then, I'll crank for both of us. I'll crank it for both of us.
Yep. Sir Prince-a-Lot legitimately just like virtually kicked you right in the sack. Yeah, that was a direct shot.
Oh, 100%.
Across the
He's
bow,
going right for me. So thanks for that. That was nice. He also writes in, if video games were banned or outlawed overnight, I got it this time. I was having a hard time reading that earlier. Would you all pivot and podcast together still? And what about if the answer is yes? So video games, Biden comes out and he's like, video games are illegal.
Come on, man.
No more video games. If you own a console, police are coming, knocking on your door, taking your consoles, and we're throwing them in a pile and burning them. Are we continuing to do the podcast?
They're not going to burn them. You know how much a lot of that stuff is worth? They're not burning. No way.
They're scalping all the gold semiconductors and then they're burning them.
I don't like this alternate reality. This is like a version of Sliders where like you land and like all of a sudden like this world doesn't like video games. I don't like this.
I'm out of here. I am out of here.
But that's not the question. The question is, are we going to keep podcast? Are we going to do the Super Gamer Boys?
It'd be called something else.
Even though video games are illegal.
I mean, we could do like we were talking about before and just do pirate radio.
Right,
but broadcast from an undisclosed location.
Are we still talking about video games
locations.
then? Are we? Yeah. Are we still talking about video games though? Is that the thing? Or are we going to keep talking about
it'd probably be part of it, but if we stuck to the prompt and didn't talk about games at all, I feel like we talk about enough outside of the podcast that we can definitely do like a just whatever, you know what I mean? Talk about whatever and still be fine.
Yeah, just an IRL in real life, like, just telling stories and just talking life experience and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. There's more to life than video games. Can't believe I said that. But I know, don't judge me. Some of us never get to play those games. Oh, Garrett, no. Garrett's walking away from the podcast.
Well.
Why did it get 3 times cooler right now, Adrian? It was just you and I.
You tell me. I mean, I know, but
right.
I don't want to hurt. I don't want to hurt editor Garrett's feelings.
Well, yeah, he's going to edit it later, so he would take out anything that we could say that was defamatory. Right. Garrett, I'm sorry. That's not what I meant.
Video games are life, JJ. Video games are life.
Well, outside of that, we have plenty of stuff that we can vamp about and talk about.
Yeah, but I like the idea of like under the shadow of night and podcasting about video games and like wearing like anonymous mask, you know, like V for
everybody's
Vendetta.
room goes dark. We're all lit by the screen of a Game Boy Advance SP.
Alexa, turn off studio.
Yeah. Nothing is collected. Yeah, there you go.
It's just dark mode. This
Nothing
is a
that's
podcast
connected.
now. This is
Nothing
a
that's
podcast
connected.
now. Let's do the rest of the podcast in the dark.
I played a little Edith Finch this week.
Did you guys? I almost platinum Death Stranding. But
What? You can't unlock trophies. They watch that.
But I know the cops are on to me. But I'm so close. I gotta finish it.
Guys, I played like 5 minutes of Cluster Truck, and then played a pirated Chinese video game on my phone in the bathroom. But I think they're at the door right now.
Oh, they're knocking right now. Quick, disconnect. Terminate the signal.
Terminate
the signal.
Let me wipe first.
No time. You're out of here. You're going to the big house with messy drawers.
I'm going to the brink. That's horrible.
Oh man.
With a poopy butthole.
Yep.
Gross. Oh man. That's so nasty.
What else do you think you do in the bathroom when you're gonna wipe? Yeah, right.
Crank it.
Why do we have to go there?
You could crank the Playdate.
I'm cranking
you could
it.
be doing that.
When I'm in the bathroom, I'm cranking it, baby.
Oh man. I'd totally be down. You know what? If video games are banned, we're still doing a video game podcast. And even if I had to do it myself, if you guys chicken out, you can go do your IRL podcast. I'm gonna keep talking about video games.
You're chickening out way before we chicken out.
Look.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you would. Garrett, you'd be so quick.
You have kids to think about.
I'm telling you right now, if Russia took over the U.S. and got rid of all of our video games, because now it's Russia, the big bad guy.
Okay.
I would immediately.
What year is it? What 1980? What?
Hey, again, I would immediately start calling myself Comrade JJ, and I would be all about the Soviet Union return. You know, like do whatever it takes. I'm not gonna get killed. I don't want. I mean, I figure it would be like a big prison sentence. I don't want to get raped, so I'm gonna do what I gotta do.
Oh man.
Oh,
I can't be mad at you. I
guys.
get it. You're a scrappy young lad. So
I'd survive. I'm a survivor. Like a cockroach. You can't kill me.
I love how JJ immediately is just like, yeah, screw down with the U.S., down with America. I'm Russian now.
I am the most
Vladimir,
patriotic
thanks for
person.
finding me. I was trapped in the U.S. for 40 years.
Oh man.
And I want everybody who's listening to our show to know that I am very patriotic. I fly the flag all the time. I pledge allegiance to the flag and all that kind of stuff. But I would give it up in a heartbeat if they came here. I would be the first one to kill all of you. And just whatever it takes, just make sure that I've got my amount of rationed gruel to feed myself.
Just like prove your allegiance, kill your co-host. Just like your two targets are Garrett and Adrian.
Comrade Adrian and Comrade Garrett, we're going to
prove your allegiance. Take this warhead and blow up the zoo.
I can't do that. I'm not a monster. Like, come on.
Which zoo? The Omaha Zoo? Yes, the Omaha Zoo.
No, that's like crapping all over America. I could see if it was like in a dump like San Diego. Come on.
All right, okay. Now we're that's personal. I take that personally. No. So good. Yes. I love how the thing is though, like JJ, you're such a chameleon. Like, yeah, you can do your accent. Like you could not only would you like turn on America, but like you could literally turn into another character and play off and be like, I'm not JJ, that's my fake name. And like,
right.
Dude, you better hope you never drop it.
Right? Yeah, don't ever drop
trust
it.
Trust me, I can keep it going the whole time. And I'd be like, I have been double agent the whole time. Not a problem, okay? I love the Russia, the Soviet Union. You know, I'm just saying. I'd be all over it. I'd be all over it.
Oh, man.
Now I kind of want to see a video game where the Super Gamer Boys on the Playdate are going to fight the Russians over the Omaha Zoo.
The coolest thing about that, JJ, is somebody can make it. Someone can make that, and I can play it.
Yes.
I can. If Garrett, don't we know people who make games?
Yes, I think so. I mean, also
the SDK is free, dude.
It's free.
I will record lines. I said it last week. If you make a game for Playdate, I will. If you need VO from me, I will do it.
Hit us up.
No charge, no nothing.
100%. I'm into. Let me know. That'd be great. That I think of like, okay, so the game. Let's pitch this game now. I imagine
it's me and you.
Yeah.
Wait, is it against me? Soviet
Yeah.
JJ.
Oh, so JJ has
is the big bad.
turned. JJ has turned on us. Me and Adrian, special
We're
ops,
sneaking around the zoo.
It's Metal Gear. It is now Metal Gear.
Yeah, we're trying to disable the nuclear warhead to save the zoo from JJ.
It's
hidden in
it's
the
a Metal
lion's
Gear.
cage.
No. It's a Metal Gear, but
rhino's
instead
cage.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's a Metal Gear, but instead of a Metal Gear, it's actually like a mechanical rhino. Now you've like mechanized the rhinos, brainwashed them. It's like a animal control, mind control device, and that's how you're launching the nukes.
I would 100% play this game, by the way.
We're sneaking into the zoo against the Russian army and JJ. He's somehow become
We got sneak
the
suits on and
commander.
everything.
Yeah, I'm all about it, and I just want to make sure that I'm getting some of the royalties from this game. But I'm down for the VO. I'm down for
so
whatever.
You need to clip this, and so we can put it on social media channels and get this campaign going,
100%.
because I want to see this become a reality. 100%. That would be so good. We got it like with dialogue and everything.
Yeah, and unlike Garrett and Adrian, who have morals, I have none, and I will voice over anything. And
that's what makes you the perfect bad guy.
Yeah.
Oh man, I love this. We really need this game now. Even if I have to do it myself. No, I'd rather a professional do it. If there's anyone out there who knows what they're doing,
hit us up.
Man, that'd be so cool. Alrighty. Let's get on to this next question here. This is a good one.
It was the mechanical rhino that did it for me. I saw the mechanical rhino was what put it over the top.
That's how you show up riding them like that.
Yeah, and you got and dude, wouldn't it be good if I had no shirt on, like Putin, and I got no shirt on?
You have no shirt on, but you have one of those the hats that they wear, the ones that do like this.
Yeah,
absolutely,
the tall ones. The fur hat. And I'm thinking the nuclear warhead shoots out of the rhino's horn.
I was gonna say but okay. That's fine.
This isn't Ace Ventura. This isn't Ace Ventura.
It's me who's doing it. So I'd have to add a little bit of comedy flair to it. You wanted to taste my hot rhino. It's like I'm just saying.
Who's our Otacon though? Who are we checking in? Like who's giving us intel? See, that's something we got to think about.
Yeah. Oh man, that's a toughie. I feel like
it had to be Kojima, right?
It's exactly what popped in my head. It was Kojima. Well, I was like, it has to be Kojima.
I'm going to tell you right now, the one you're sleeping on that you're not aware of, my comrade in arms, Sir Prince-a-Lot. Because
not
Sir
my best friend.
Sir Prince-a-Lot he lives right near me, and that's where the crux of the whole thing is that he's going to be a turncoat and is joining my Russian army. He's making sure.
Or he was a plant the whole time, and he was trying to throw us off from the beginning.
JJ is a sleeper agent. Sir Prince-a-Lot is sending the codes out through questions, activates JJ.
That's how the whole thing pops off. We just started with us doing a regular podcast, and then all of a sudden,
JJ just starts speaking perfect Russian. We're like, what is happening?
Welcome back, Agent Perdum.
Oh no. Okay.
And
we got to hit, boys.
We can go to the next one, but
we really need. I mean, this is a AAA game now. I think I don't know. We have have indie developer friends, but I don't know. This might be like Naughty Dog level now. This is like Kojima.
This is what they're working on. They're not working on The Last of Us remaster. They're working on this.
This is like Kojima Productions level now. Like we need to get like the original stealth action guy in here.
I know we signed an NDA, but sorry, Neil Druckmann, we had to tell the people that this concept is too good to pass up.
Neil Druckmann, Naughty Dog.
This summer, one of the greatest video game podcasts in history. Join you as you join them in an adventure in Omaha. They are the Soviet Gamer Boys.
Now, this totally sounds like a game like Devolver Digital would produce, though. Like, it sounds like some crazy.
We can
Devolver
hit them up,
game.
man. I tell you, they'll put us in talks with the right people. Devolver doesn't miss.
Oh, come on. All right. So we're gonna paste all this together in a little like video so we can post on Twitter. We're gonna tag Playdate. We're gonna tag Devolver Digital.
So we need to talk to Devolver so we can get a developer on board so that we can have them develop it, and then we need to talk to Panic so that we can put this game on Playdate. Yeah.
It needs to be in the next season, the season 2 slate of games.
It needs to be in season 2.
Like this isn't something we're selling on our own. This needs to be an official Panic
Everyone
season.
is going to play this.
Like they're forced to play this game whether they like it or not.
Metal Gear Solid.
Oh man, that's too good. Too much fun. We're good at this. Maybe we should start like a new podcast where we just make up video games on the fly. Does someone give us a prompt? Like do that every week. Be like, okay, like everyone send in your prompts and we take
what's under
like,
the premise. Yeah.
Like pick 3 random prompts and then just like make a game of it. That'd be genius.
I'm down for doing one every once in a while. We can make it a segment.
I mean, just a segment. I don't know. I would.
You
love
think we could do a whole show of it?
I'd love to flesh. Honestly, I feel like we could talk for another hour about this Metal Gear Solid here.
But then once you do that, doesn't that kind of make it Dungeons and Dragons?
How so?
I mean, we're not role playing.
When you're role playing and you're coming up with a premise and then you're making stuff up off the fly.
Only if someone pulls out some dice.
Well, Garrett,
Fair
you
point.
were bound to come up with some damn dice in the next little bit, I'm sure.
Oh, I got about 6 sets back here. Let me know. All right, this next question. Let's get to the next question here. Eddie Martin, Patreon producer, writes in, Mount Rushmore of video game items can be power-ups, piece of equipment, etc. So every video game you've ever played, what are your top 4 favorite video game items?
Ooh, good grief.
That's a tough.
That's asking a lot.
It really is. Like, honestly, I was thinking about this the other day and I was struggling. I mean, I'm still struggling. I do not have a full list. So I'm kind of like.
I mean, I've definitely got one. I think you guys can guess what one of them is. But the other 3 would be, I think for sure would probably be the BFG from Doom.
Okay.
Good grief. Now he said it could be armor too, right?
It just says a power up or a piece of equipment, etc. So a piece of equipment, I guess, could be armor. Yeah, that's what I would take that as.
It'd be a Phoenix Down, because that's essentially like giving me an extra life.
Okay.
From Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
And then what's the last one? Does a summon count as an item? Like if I you know how like you can
I would think because in the Final Fantasy games like it's an actual like item that you use in order to summon the thing, so yeah, I would say so.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Okay. Well, you know what? I'll hold that one, and then I'll do the Hylian shield.
Okay. So wait, what was that? So you have the BFG, the shield, the Phoenix Down. What was the 4th one?
Keyblade.
Oh, okay. You said that we would know what it is, but you didn't say it. So okay, the Keyblade. I just wanted. I didn't know. I'm a dummy. I didn't know. I guess I don't know.
You don't know me at all, then.
I don't know you at all. You're a complete stranger to me.
So
for me, you go ahead, JJ, because I'm still thinking.
Sure. So first and foremost, I don't think you could talk a power up or an item from video games without bringing up the mushroom from Super Mario Brothers.
I thought you were gonna go Fire Flower. I was really thinking you were gonna go there.
I feel like if we're trying to be the Mount Rushmore, we're thinking like the 4 biggest or most iconic items or power ups or whatever. So I feel like that mushroom has to be there, man, because that's the thing that gives you the power, makes you grow and get big and strong bones, Garrett. You know. So I would say that'd be one of the 4 that's on the Mount Rushmore. And as far as the other 3, that is really difficult. Like so difficult. This is such a great question, and I probably should have tried to do a little preparation beforehand. But I'm always like, dragging.
It's always better when it's on the fly.
Man,
I have a couple. I don't have a complete list, but I have a couple so far. So maybe I'll say my couple. That'll give you time to come up with one or two more.
Yeah.
Okay. The bandana from Metal Gear Solid, infinite ammo bandana. That's like iconic. Okay. I love that. So, and you don't get that unless you beat the game. You finish the game, and then when you go back and play a second time, it's almost like New Game Plus, where like all of a sudden in your inventory you'll see a infinite ammo bandana, so you never run out of ammo. That's such a cool item, such a fun thing. My second one is the wrist blade from Assassin's Creed. I think it's one of the coolest weapons ever. Like, I love that one. And then there was a third one that popped in my head real quick, and now I'm blanking on. I don't know. JJ, do you have another one now?
Kratos' axe from God of War.
The Leviathan axe.
Yeah, yes, the Leviathan axe was incredible, man. So, I mean, if we're thinking like a major weapon to be up there on that Mount Rushmore, I think that it's got to be mentioned for sure. Mm-hmm. So, the Leviathan axe for sure.
Boy, this is extremely hard. An item box from Mario Kart. Just the item, but not a specific item. I was gonna say now does it have to be a specific item? I don't know. I guess it does. Well, I think my favorite item. Okay, I'll pick a specific item because the item box, that's kind of everything. It doesn't really count. My favorite item is probably just the basic red shell. I love a good red shell. Like, it's perfect because you can hit people in front of you. It auto targets, and it's a great shield for behind. So
it's a solid pick.
I think my third pick would be the red shell from Mario Kart. And I don't know, JD, you got another one? I'm grasping for my fourth one still.
I am struggling very hard. I was trying to think weapons.
I'm like looking around my room right now.
You've got all the paraphernalia.
Garrett, are you really not going to say Octo Camo?
I mean,
it's not up there for you?
That's cool. I do like it. I feel like it's like an honorable mention to the bandana. It's great and all. It's cool. I just feel like it also just kind of breaks the game. Granted, so does infinite ammo bandana, but like with the active camo, you can just like run through the game and no one sees you at all. Like, you just kind of like, it almost makes it way too like it's like a cheat code almost, more than like an item. I don't know. So.
Okay, so I'm a big fan of the Uncharted movie. We all know. No, no, I love the Uncharted games, but I'm actually going to choose the hook rappel that he ends up using to always throw and swing from, the rappelling hook. I really like that. I think it's a cool item. I'd like to have that up there because Nathan Drake, you know.
Yeah, I'm such an idiot. I just turned around and it was like, oh, a Pokeball. Iconic, right?
Just an empty Pokeball?
Well, no, with a Pokemon in there, obviously, but I mean...
yeah, well, I guess if it's going up on Mount Rushmore, you're not actually using it.
I know, I'm not going to put a Pokemon in there and then force it to be stuck to the side of a mountain for the rest of eternity, never to see daylight again.
Yeah, he's not evil, Adrian.
That would be Pokemon. That'd be animal cruelty. But no, I think my last would definitely Pokeball. JJ, do you have, I think you've named 3, right?
I've named 3, and as far as the fourth one, I cannot think of anything off the top of my head, unfortunately. I'm thinking like Resident Evil, and I'm like, you know what? Maybe one of the red herbs from Resident Evil.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, like the herbs or something, the red or green herb. Those would be a good item for Resident Evil. Cool. All right, there you go. Mount Rushmore video game items.
That was difficult, Eddie.
I love these Mount Rushmore questions that he comes up with, and because I feel like it's like such a infinite question. Like, he can just
it makes you pull from everything.
Yeah, and he can just keep changing. Like it's the same question but with a different subject, and I love that. So simple, so fun. So thank you for that one. This last question comes from Shadow Ranger 02, and they ask, what's your favorite horror story, creepypasta that you've ever read?
Okay, I need to be answering first, and here's why. Because it plays into the whole Omaha Zoo thing. So...
oh, boy.
and the Russian take.
The legend continues.
So the greatest creepypasta of all time is something that I believed was totally real when I first heard it in the 90s. The Russian sleep experiment. Now, I'm not sure if you guys have heard that creepypasta, but the Russian sleep experiment is one of the most well-known and many oftentimes told creepypasta. And essentially, it was claimed that there was a sleep experiment done in Russia where they took all these criminals and they put them in a room and they pumped this gas into the room to keep them awake. And so they were awake for, I don't remember what it was, like a week or 2 weeks or whatever it was. And they're in the room and they're just slowly going insane. And then eventually when they pull out like a couple of people who are still alive, they are screaming to go back in because they want that gas because they don't want to fall asleep or they'll die. It's insane. It's really, really great. Have you guys neither of you guys heard of the Russian sleep experiment?
I feel like I have, but I mean, it's been forever. It's one of those things where like, I know the name, but I couldn't remember like what it actually was because it's been so long. But
that kind of reminds me of those, where was that? Stanford? That they were doing those experiments on students with like keeping them awake and keeping them in dark rooms for like days at a time. That doesn't ring a bell for anybody?
No, it does. I actually, funny enough, just did a little research on the Russian sleep experiment a couple of weeks ago and read a couple of articles on Wikipedia about some of the different testings where people have been sleep deprived and on purpose, and who holds like the record for the longest time, and hallucinations, losing touch with reality, all the things that come across with not getting sleep.
Yeah. Dang. For me, I'm a fan of like things that are like true, I guess, if that makes sense. Like I actually, it's hard to point at one thing in particular, but I've always loved, well, I mean, JJ, you know, like I've always loved the true crime kind of stuff. I remember you turned me onto a podcast one time that was fantastic because like went through like all these crazy serial killers and all sorts of stuff. Sword and Scale.
It's one of my favorites.
Fantastic show, but listening to it for 8 hours a day for like weeks at a time. I had to stop because I'm like, you start going to a dark place listening to that podcast a little too long. Fantastic show though. So like stuff like that, but like recently, so I actually just found this like last week maybe, this YouTube channel called Chilling Scares. And all it is like these videos of like people write in their own stories or even like send in actual footage, like kind of unexplained, like weird stuff. And it's like just like 6 disturbing findings caught on camera in the forest. And it's like, it's not horror stuff. There's no monsters. Like, and that's the thing. He never talks about supernatural at all. Like everything he talks about is very much like it could, you know, there's no supernatural element to it. It's very much real. Or like one of them that I just watched the other day is the 10 most disturbing things caught on Ring doorbells. And it's actual footage from people's Ring doorbells of like people dressed up as like, you know, remember back in what was it, like 2016 with the whole killer clown thing went on? Like like people dressed up as clowns come to the doors, but like actually having knives and like trying to like, there's a video of like the guy trying to open someone's front door and it was locked.
Oh man.
But like he had a knife in his hand and tried to break in someone's house and they caught it on their Ring doorbell. And like, or, you know, someone sleeping on the couch. It's home security footage where they're like laying on the couch asleep and all of a sudden the security camera triggers and someone's upstairs, like they broke into their house and they're stealing their stuff. Like that's the kind of stuff that I love, where it's like, it's real. Like it's not actually like made up stuff or supernatural. It's like, oh, I'm home alone and someone else is in the house with me and they shouldn't be here. And like, that's way more terrifying to me, like, because it could actually happen. Like that is real. So that's my kind of, horror content is. So check out Chilling Scares on YouTube. I love it because it's all like stuff like that where people write in stories or this guy finds clips on the internet and then kind of puts them together in little, videos like that all together.
So that actually sounds just like Mr. Ballin. Mr. Ballin is on YouTube and he has a phenomenal show, same basic premise where he's telling stories that are chilling stories. And like, so he tells these stories and, show some actual photos of some of the people that have, were involved in the stuff. And so sounds along the same lines. Very, very good stuff. Mr. Ballin on YouTube.
Yeah. I love it because, I mean, it's one of those things like it's a love-hate. I hate it. Like listening to it, I'm like, like, so terrifying, but I love it because it's just like, man, like, this is real. Like, it could actually happen. Like, not that I'd ever want it to, but that's what makes it so scary. It's like, I could 100% wake up one night and like, some dude is like standing over my bed going through my nightstand or something. It's just like, what the, like, that's what makes it so terrifying because it's real. So
over with Mr. Ballin, I just watched a video yesterday where he was telling a story about a submarine, a Russian submarine that actually went under the water, and everybody was like, hey, what's going on with the submarine? And they were kind of like brushing it off. The generals were like, no, they're doing a test right now on the bottom. They're fine. And the family starts tripping out, and essentially there was an explosion with one of the missiles that were supposed to be a fake missile, not a real one, and it exploded. And so the thing sunk to the bottom. There was a huge fire, and there's like 5 chambers inside of this submarine. It's cut up like a submarine sandwich, cut up into these different chambers. And this guy who was in the 4th chamber is stuck inside of the chamber, and he essentially, after 16 hours or so, is completely in the dark, and he is writing notes with a little notepad in his pocket, and writing notes where he can't even see what he's writing, saying, that there was a fire and he's going to die, tell his family that he loves them, and he's writing these on a little notepad, and it's like, man, he was able to like write this legible little notes, put it into his pocket, and then the way that things were done, they were able to tell that he wrote other stuff a little later, saying like, now we're completely in the dark. Like basically he opened up, even though it was dangerous for him, he opened up to let the people from the 3rd section, into their section, and then they moved into the last section, and that's where they were when they eventually were found days later. But they tried to cover it up, and it was essentially like, it was an incredible story. But that's one of those times of things where you're like, you feel like you're trapped in the submarine with this guy when Mr. Ballin is telling the story. And I love horror, but the best kind of horror, psychological horror, is when it scares the crap out of you and you feel like you're right there, and you're suffering with the people who are suffering.
Man, so good. Adrian, did you have an answer? I don't know if I heard you answer. Do you like creepypasta, scary stuff?
It's not necessarily creepypastas. I don't know if you can even, it's kind of pre-internet in a way. Okay. But I mean, I have to give a shout out to Goosebumps. Come on now.
So good.
Not of the Living Dummy.
Yeah.
Monster Blood. Come on now.
Classics.
Say Cheese and Die. That one. Oh my God. You telling me there's a camera that whenever I take a picture of something, it's just gonna show me what's gonna happen to it?
Yeah. So
the one where
they stole
he
that
took a
from
picture
Twilight
of that girl.
Zone. They stole that idea from Twilight Zone. That was a Twilight Zone.
I found that out later on as I got older. But when he took a picture of that girl in the group and they looked at the picture and she wasn't there, it's like, oh my God, what's going on?
So terrifying.
Yes. For my little 9-10-year-old brain.
Right.
That's terrifying for my 40-year-old brain.
Now, hang on. I just need to confirm something real quick.
Night of the Dummy is one of the best stories
It's so
ever,
good.
Dude.
It's so good, dude.
I remember getting that book, some Goosebumps books, and having that one specifically, and reading it to my daughter, my oldest, when she was younger, and I think she was 6 or 7, and she always wanted to have spooky stuff. She liked stuff like that. She liked to be scared. And I remember reading that to her when she was like 7, I think. And oh man, she would fall asleep and I would just keep reading. I'm like, man, I love this stuff.
Pretty
still.
Good.
Yeah.
Is he still writing them? R.L. Stein?
I don't think so. I don't think that he is.
Now sitting back in his what?
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say he was sitting back in those thick Coke bottle glasses and raking in the money.
Yeah. Now I don't I doubt JJ would have known of this, but Adrian, do you remember a show from the early to mid 90s called Ghostwriter? Kids solving local crimes, capers, and mysteries in their neighborhood with the help of a ghost who can only communicate through writing and words.
Why does this sound so familiar?
I do remember it.
I
never watched it, but I do remember it.
I forget what network of it was. It was like Nickelodeon, or if it was PBS. Was it Nickelodeon? Something like that. I love the show. I thought it was fantastic. But there is this one episode that terrified me as a kid. It was, and I think it's. So it was actually the last.
Oh my God.
It was the last 4 episodes. They did a part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4. So it was like 4 episodes in a row called Attack of the Slime Monster. And those 4 episodes, that gooey Gus doll, I still like, it's so ingrained in my head. It will never leave me. Like Google gooey Gus doll.
I got it right here. I knew exactly what you were talking about.
And dude, like anytime, like, I don't know, it'll like throughout the day, it sounds bizarre, throughout the day, like at random times, it'll just like that picture will pop in my head and I still get goosebumps. It's like,
you gotta go to therapy, dog.
I've been scarred for life by Ghostwriter, this kids show. Oh man.
I thought you were gonna pull up Are You Afraid of the Dark? Now that's an absolute classic.
That was a good one. But yeah, I loved Ghostwriter. It was such a goofy, like trying to be educational, but then basically it was just like these kids solving crimes and with the help of this ghost. It was like really weird. Man, so good.
Were you a Tales from the Crypt fan?
No, I mean, it's not that I wasn't a fan. I didn't really know about it. Until like later. It was something like later on I heard about it. I'm like, oh, how did I miss that as a kid? But
yeah, you guys are both pretty young, but I grew up at the perfect age for Tales from the Crypt. Tales from the Crypt was so good that it made me want to go out and get all of the old Tales from the Crypt comics and all of the old EC comic stuff that was the horror stuff. Oh, there's such good stuff out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Tales from the Crypt was fantastic. The Crypt Keeper.
Yeah, I feel like I remember seeing like every once in a while as like a rerun late night kind of thing on different channels, but
they made a couple of B movies. Tales from the Crypt, after having a TV show on HBO for so many years with John Kasser as the voice of the Crypt Keeper, they ended up having a couple of really great movies. One of them was Bordello of Blood and Demon Knight, and they're both really good. They're both really, really good horror movies with like Tales from the Crypt was always great at having humor in there, like this sarcastic, witty humor, you know, the kind that I like. And so it was perfect for like my age at the time. I'm actually glad to hear that like people like your age found it later and are able to enjoy it, you know, because there's such good stuff out there. And it's a shame that people in different generations don't get to see some of that old stuff.
Do kids today even like scary stuff? I never hear them talk about like scary movies or things like that, or like scary books, or you know what I mean.
I know for my kids like spooky stuff. They like to be scared, but not too much. You know, it's
but
like
there's no like
level.
Like I don't hear kids today talk about like an Are You Afraid of the Dark or like a Goosebumps or what?
Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. You remember that book?
Yes.
Dude, that was a book that like I would sneak
Scarred
it home.
You for life?
I would sneak it home from the school library because I wasn't allowed to have it because it was too scary.
Really?
My parents, I wasn't allowed to read Harry Potter.
Okay, fair point.
But I was like, oh, I'm definitely not allowed to read this, but I'm bringing it home. So I would like get these books from the library and like hide them on like under my mattress or like under my nightstand, stuff like that. And then at night, pull out the flashlight and read them. And dude, again, this is one of those, just like Gooey Gus, like I'll have flashbacks of like the frickin' like the scarecrow dude or the ghost, like creepy ghost lady. The kid, like all of it. That is just iconic. And there's 2 of them, I think. Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark and then Scary Stories 2. And they were both fantastic books. I really want to get a copy of those because I would love to have those.
You could probably get
shelf.
a digital copy these days.
I mean, it'd be so fun to have like the paper, just like the good old days. So just sitting on the shelf back there, I can just pop it out when I really want to scare the pants off myself. But like, because they were written for like young adults, kids, but there's some of the stories were like very intense, very terrifying, and borderline like, oh, this is very graphic, like for like a young adult. I was surprised because like, yeah, you have like a Goosebumps, or you have a, you know, all the, like these other like kids books, or, you know, they were scary, but I felt like they were, I don't know. Yeah, they were still.
No,
like
I get what you're saying.
A funness to it, where like Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark was like, no, like this is terrifying, and we're also going to scar you for life, which it did, like obviously, because I think about it regularly, like, oh man, like that is such a scary story. There was a movie that came out like in the last couple years, right? Was that any good? Did you guys see it? I think they made a movie based off the book, like where they kind of bunched all those stories together.
Did they call it Scary Stories?
Let me Google it real quick. Scary Stories to Tell. Okay, here it is. Yes, 2019, directed by Andre Overdahl.
What was it rated?
Rated. I can't find the IMDb for it.
I have to imagine it's PG, right? Because it was originally aimed at a younger audience.
It is,
but it could be 13. You can get away with
PG-13.
Okay.
Yeah, PG-13. Just immediately on the IMDb, there's an image of the freaking scarecrow.
Just for you.
I hate it. Why is Guillermo del Toro in all the marketing of it? Did he help with it?
No, he's probably just a big fan.
Oh, he did the screen. So the screenplay was done by Dan Hageman and Kevin Hageman.
He might have produced it.
And Guillermo del Toro did a screen story, so he wrote part of it. He was
maybe he wrote one of the stories.
Yeah, maybe. But
adapted one of the stories for the screen.
Right. Interesting. I don't know if it's any good or not, but just seeing that freaking scarecrow picture is
it's triggering. I'm done.
I'm out of here. I'm done. So good. Cool. Well, that's it for questions. We don't have any more questions, and we've been going for about an hour. Adrian.
And what about it?
My thought is I do the ad here, and then we can get into what you plan, where you can share some Playdate stuff. How about that?
Let's do it.
All right. It's now time for the ad. This is a part of the show where I tell you to go support us at patreon.com/supergamerboys. If you love what we do, love the content we bringing you the news each and every week, except for this week where we're just having fun, you can, and if you want to, you know what, one of our goals on Patreon is, you know, you'll get a show where there's more of this, just having fun and chit-chatting, if we can hit that $100 a month level. So go to patreon.com/supergamerboys if you want that to happen. You get episodes early and ad-free, such as this show, Super Gamer Book Club. You get also access to season 1 of Super Gamer Book Club, hosted by Zetch Keenan, previous host, rest in peace. And you can get show notes early for the show, so you know what we're going to be talking about, what kind of the general format the show's going to be, a place where you can leave your own comments, questions, concerns for specific news stories if you'd like to be involved with the show. We have the $10 a month, a Super Gamer Producer tier, where you get shout outs on the show, just like we did at the top. And then also our producer tier, Super Gamer Producer, where you can pitch us segments for the show, kind of be a part of, brainstorming some stuff. You can be top tier. Basically, you are. I was gonna say you can be our boss, but JJ made fun of me when I say that. I don't know why he always makes fun of me, but that's kind of the gist of it, right? At least for a segment, like you get to pitch us, and we'll listen to you, whether we like it or not. I mean, within reason. There's definitely been things we'd vetoed in past, but for the most, like we within reason, we'll try things. So support us over there. If you have a cool idea for a segment you want us to try out, hit us up. Support us at Patreon. We'd love to check that out. You can also, if you're not looking for a monthly thing, you can subscribe on Twitch over here when we go live, twitch.tv/TheSuperGamerBoys. It's $5 a month. Or if you have Amazon Prime, you have Prime Gaming. Correct? Did I get that right, Adrian? Prime, you're muted.
Even I know that.
I was cranking.
It's Prime.
Oh, he was cranking. He was cranking. Prime Gaming. If you have Amazon Prime, you have Prime Gaming. You can subscribe for free. That's right. $0 to you, $5 to us. So go do that, please. That helps us out tremendously, and it gives you access to some fun emotes that you can use elsewhere on Twitch with our faces. All right, that's it for the ad. Let's get back to the show. Alrighty, guys. We're going to start with Adrian this week. Adrian, what you playing?
Oh, boy. Let me tell you, I gotta do a lead into this because I have been following this project and waiting on this for about almost next month will be 3 years from when they first announced it to the public.
Wow.
And that is Panic's new handheld called the Playdate. So this is a totally Panic is, of course, their own company. They decided to partner with another excellent company called Teenage Engineering, who did the hardware for this. It's I hate saying this, but it's the only way that people will understand it. Is it's kind of like a Game Boy, but it's not. It shares characteristics of that console, where, you know, of course, it has a D-pad, an A and a B button, but the screen is leagues better than the Game Boy unit. It's much more visible in daylight or in low light situations because it's made out of a really reflective material. And of course, the standout feature that everybody likes to you know, move on to as quick as possible is it has a mechanical crank.
Crank it.
It's on the side of the console, and you use it to interact with not only the console itself, the menus, but many games take advantage of it in a ton of different ways. So while that's the big physical hook, the big digital hook is that Panic is partnering with tons and tons of independent developers to bring games to this platform. And the way that they're distributing them is they're doing 2 games a week. So they're doing full seasons of games. The first one has 24 games. So when you get your unit, as soon as you turn it on, that's when your season starts. You get 2 games. And then every week, every Monday, they give you 2 more. I actually just got 2 more today. So I'm probably going to be getting 2 every time we do an episode. So I'm definitely going to be able to, you know, come on and
that's awesome.
Let you know what's going on.
Now, Adrian, when you say that you got 2 games today,
mm-hmm.
What size games are we talking? I mean, are we talking like, is this Breath of the Wild, long AAA style game, or is this a kind of a smaller hour, 2 hour, 3 hour independent type of game?
That's probably the latter. I think most times you're going to be looking at that, but there are a lot of games that feel like RPGs, or they feel like visual novels where they can, you know, take you down a journey. There's one game that I'm playing right now that somebody made for it called Bloom, and that takes place over real time. Like, you'll have to plant flowers, and then you'll come back later on and be able to take the seeds and sell them and, you know, build up your flower shop. Granted, that's not the whole focus of the game, but just aspects of it take place in real time because the system has a built-in clock, all that jazz. And it's not necessarily it's not the fidelity of Game Boy games too. Like, this game or this system has full sound file support. Like, it can play full on, you know, pre-recorded tracks. It has support for fully voiced games if need be, or if you want to. It even has like a rudimentary 3D engine in it, so you can, you know, put some 3D elements in your game. So it's definitely, you know, a step above what people are estimating it to be.
Correct.
Mr. Morlang.
Now, when you do your segment on the show and talk about the Playdate games, Do we want it to be part of Super Indie Boys, What You Playing, or do we want to come out with Playdate Presents?
Ooh. Now that's a tough one.
A new segment, Playdate Presents, and
a new segment
that replaces your Indie Boys for a little bit, where you just do Playdate Presents and talk about your 2 games separate from What You Playing.
I'm down. I can get the footage because they have that mirror, so that's not a problem for me to do.
Ooh, yeah. Okay. We'll talk about it more off air. We'll figure it out.
We'll get some stuff on the books. We'll get cooking on that.
We'll hash it out.
So I got the unit, of course, and I've got it all set up. I've been playing it nonstop since I got it. I got it on last Thursday. And so far it is everything that I expected and hoped it would be and more. I couldn't be happier with the way things turned out with it. I think the games that they've picked so far are excellent showcases of what the unit is capable of. I've even gotten some games because they let you side load games. Like if somebody were to make a game independent of the store or of their release, their internal releases, they give you the ability to load it onto your own Playdate. They don't care. They just want people to make stuff for it.
Which I was kind of looking into that. I feel, from what I can tell, obviously I don't have one, and maybe you can talk more about it and how that actually works and how that happens. But from what I can tell, they make it super easy, right? You basically can sync your Playdate with your Panic or Playdate account, and all you have to do is just upload the file online, right? And then it automatically through Wi-Fi just uploads to your Playdate, just like your games on Mondays pop up. Like that's genius.
Exactly like
the fact that you don't have to find your cable, you don't have to plug it in, you don't have to sync anything. It's not like syncing a phone with your iTunes or whatever like that. You literally just, once your Playdate is synced with your Playdate account, you can just, if you're scrolling on your computer, you find a game, you're like, oh, cool, click and drag, boom, over to the Playdate, and then it just loads up with Wi-Fi.
It comes right back down.
That is genius, because it's like, it's literally like in 30 seconds, you just have a new game. It's like no plug, you don't have to plug things in or play around. It's just boom, there. So cool.
Mr. Purdom.
Mr. Holmes, hi, JJ Purdom with Super Gamer Boys. Quick question. When you got the Playdate and you got all these different games that you've gotten with them, is there any games that stand out to you? I know you've probably sampled a whole bunch of them, but can you give us the name of any of the games and kind of the premise of any of the games that maybe you were blown away by, or that you find yourself playing more than anything else?
So the first 2 that I got were one that's called Casual Birder, which is like a little RPG where you are playing the role of a new kid that moves into town, and he's a photographer, and he takes pictures of different birds in the area. And there is a big competition that's coming up, and there's this gang of other bird watchers who are like real tough guys, and they're trying to muscle in on everybody. So, they're the big gang in town. They're like, nobody takes pictures of birds except for us.
That's
type
amazing.
Of deal.
That sounds fun.
So you are, getting your skills up and getting your equipment better so you can go and compete with them and, eventually win the competition and kick them out of town. So that's like a little RPG that you can do. And then when you go to take pictures, you use the crank right here to focus your lens back and forth on the different birds that you take pictures of.
That's super cool.
Yeah. So that one is definitely... That was one of the 2. That was a really good standout. Of course, I had to talk about Whitewater Wipeout. If you ever played those old surfing games on I guess maybe the NES, like the California games, where you ride on the wave and then you go down and you come up and you do a couple of spins and then you go back down into the wave. Mm-hmm. That's a good one to showcase the fidelity of the crank, because it's a 360-degree crank. So you can definitely, it's 1-to-1 pretty much of where the crank position is in regards to your movement. And then one of the ones I just got today is called Crankin's Time Adventure. And that's where the entire thing is controlled by a crank, right? Yeah. But think of it as like obstacle courses. So the story of the game is you're a robot man named Crankin, and you're late for your date with your girlfriend. And you have to figure out a way to get through the obstacle course as fast as you can by using the crank to do your movement. So while you're cranking, he's running, he'll like bend down to smell the flowers, or he'll hurdle over something, or there's obstacles that's coming your way that you have to think about. And then when you crank it in reverse, the entire stage goes in reverse, but the obstacles still keep coming at you. So you have to find a way to dodge the obstacles at one point, like something would be coming at your arm, but if you stop like this, it'll go right past you. And then you keep running after that to get to your girlfriend, and it gets harder and harder every stage.
Dang, that's crazy. It seems like it takes way too much brain power.
No, it's more intuitive than you think it is. Okay, I'm just bad at explaining it.
Yeah. No, it actually sounds fantastic, and like a couple of those games do sound like a lot of fun.
Yeah. And then another one that came out today it's not necessarily a game in the sense of like, you go from point A to point B, or there's an objective. This one is just like somebody took the sound sequencer from Mario Paint and just dropped it right onto Playdate. And like, you can do different sound effects and make little different beats of whatever you want.
That's awesome.
Cause there's like a set instrument, like there's a set drum kit and there's a set keyboard, and you just use the sequencer and you can put whatever notes you want in whatever arrangement. And there's a bunch of different little like animals and monsters and food, stuff like that you can set at the top of your screen. And the whole time they're just up there vibing and dancing to whatever you make. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, man. It's such a good showcase of what you can do with the system so far. So I'm definitely looking forward to what's on the rise, or what's on the horizon.
I'm so excited.
This has pretty much like put everything else. I mean, granted, because it's a brand new thing, and like I said, I've been waiting 3 years for it. But this puts everything else at a standstill for me right now. Like, I'm playing Edith Finch because A, it's a good game, and because B, I have to, because we have to do book club. Yeah. But I'm really not playing anything else right now, to be honest.
Now, Adrian, is there any fear at all that they will not support the games anymore and they won't continue creating, and that in a couple of years it would fall off? Or do you see this being like, no, it's going to create its own niche?
So the cool thing about it is most people at this point don't have one, but I've seen I've dove heavy into the scene at this point of like people who are working on projects, and there are people after people after people after people that are working on projects for this thing, and I feel like it's just lit a whole new fire in the independent developer community, especially because this is like it's a platform that the constraint in it, like it only being a 1-bit system, pushes people to be creative. And I think people who make independent games like that, that's what they're looking for, is that challenge. So I can definitely see, and the fact that they sold through the first 20,000 units in like 15 minutes. So there's definitely a market for it. But I think as far as maybe Panic themselves not supporting it, I think they're its biggest fan, because they made it, number one. Yeah. But I think I feel like even if they don't do regular seasons anymore, people are gonna create games for this thing, for however long that Panic will keep the servers up and let you sideload them.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, it'll definitely have legs at least for the next couple years, because that's how long it's going to take to just fulfill pre-orders. I feel like at least the next year and a half. So, so within the next like year or two, like I feel like it'll definitely stick around. And then after that, yeah, like Adrian said, like I've kind of seen a lot of the things you've been retweeting and kind of finding some new people to follow, and it's like, oh man, no, there's like a ton of people working on stuff. And so, and games don't, they're not developed overnight. So,
no.
Some of those games are going to come out in a couple of years. So
you're such a champion for the Playdate, and you're such a cool voice when it comes to championing this thing, that I feel like they should be using you to promote it.
Dude, listen. I know somebody out there at Panic has seen our stuff.
Oh yeah, our most watched video is your Playdate video because Playdate watched it and shared it on their social media. So they have used us to show off Playdate. Like they have already technically used Adrian to do that because they saw the passion there. They saw the passion.
I'm formally putting this out here now, right? I mean, granted, I have a track record, right? You can go back and see that I've always been a champion for independent games and independent development. That's like my jam. But if they ever do like a brand evangelist, like if you go to trade shows and you need people at the booth, or you want me to make official ads or something like that, call me. You don't got to pay me. You don't got to do nothing. I'm just down to do this, dude. I believe in this product so much, and I believe in the impact that it's going to have, the explosion that it's going to have in independent development, and I can't wait until this gets into people's hands and to see what's going to come of it as far as development is going. So
it'll never be in Garrett's hands. I want you to know that, though. Just throwing that out there. Garrett, let's be honest. You're never getting it, okay?
Yeah, it's probably true, unfortunately.
So that was for you, Sir Prince-a-Lot.
So that's what I've been playing. If that sounded interesting to you at all, definitely look into it. I know they are, which is a good thing. They're having a lot of trouble keeping up supply because people are buying them like crazy, and they're pushed out to like 2023 for people to get their next units.
Yeah.
But I can tell you right now that it's absolutely worth it. And if you have the spare cash, or if you want to, save up a little bit and get in line later on, do it, dude. Because if what I can see on the horizon, like if what I can envision is going to happen does happen, there is going to be a tidal wave of stuff for this platform. And I think people are really underestimating it right now because a lot of people don't have it. And a lot of people I've seen who are pretty like iffy on it or negative on it, like don't understand what Panic is trying to do with this platform. Mm-hmm. It's not trying to be, a Sony, or it's not trying to be, a big AAA developer. Like if you're looking for this thing to play, I don't know, something akin to actual Nintendo franchises, or if you're looking for it for emulators or something like that, this is not the place for you.
No. This is 100% just a space, like some extremely creative people made an extremely creative console, and now they're just hoping like a bunch of extremely creative indie developers come out and just make some really cool stuff that you literally won't get anywhere else. Like that's what's so cool about this, is not only because of the crank, but because of, like you said, the 1-bit, and it's only black and white, and there's all these like you said, constraints. It's like you are literally going to get experiences here that you cannot get anywhere else. I mean, you can try to make it other places, but the problem with that is like, okay, you try to make a PC port of the game, but people get greedy. They're like, oh, I have a little extra power, so I'm going to add this. Yeah, I'm going to add this and this. It's like, no, you're going to be forced to do something here because otherwise it won't run. And so I think that is going to just, I don't know, make some really cool stuff. So I'm really excited to get mine. I'm so stoked because even though I'm not the big champion of indie games here, since knowing Adrian and him being on the show, especially where he can actually face-to-face tell me, Garrett, you better play this game or else, I've started to fall in love with indie games now. And again, I don't have the receipts to show that I've been crying from the rooftops forever, but more and more I'm like falling down that well, just like Adrian did, and
we're happy to have you,
and I'm loving it. So
me included,
bring it on.
Adrian, you've done that for both of us, like just opened up our eyes to indie games. And I think that's really been your whole point, is that there's all these great games that people just don't know about because they don't have the backing that Sony does, or Xbox or Nintendo, and so they don't
have a network where people can tell them about it.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that's what's great about this podcast and some of the things that you bring to this table. And I hope that Playdate is super successful. Like things like that need to get into more hands. And it only happens by us jumping on the rooftops alongside Adrian and shouting like, "Hey, play this stuff!" And I don't know if you guys heard, but Little Nightmares
Save us from Call of Duty 47, please. Save us.
Right?
No more Call of Duty. We're done. Man, cool stuff. Thanks for sharing that, Adrian. I am stoked, and I brought up the Playdate Pulp site, and I'm like, looks pretty intuitive. Who knows? Maybe I'll do some tinkering and
give it a shot, man. I'll play whatever you make. just send it to me.
All right, I'll send it to you. I'll send you just a game where it just you walk down a hallway and when you open the door at the end, it just says #JJ sucks.
That counts. You made it. You made it though. That's the thing. Would you have ever made a game though if you didn't have that kind of tool?
No.
That's what I'm saying. Look at that.
No.
Even though you think it's a goof, like. Yeah, it inspired you to be creative.
Like I'm looking at the site here, and like you can literally make your own fonts, you can make your rooms, you can make your music right here. Like it has a whole like synth and everything, make sound effects.
Garrett, why can't you make the Soviet Gamer Boys?
Looking at it, it's all super simple. So like anyone can do this, and then like you talked about before, like. The SDK, is that what it's called? I don't know. That didn't sound right in my head, but yeah. The SDK is out there, which is like for professionals. But even if you don't know what you're doing, like I'm looking at this, I'm like, oh, I could literally make a game and people could play it. So crazy. Man, I'm stoked. All right. That's probably enough about the Playdate. We could probably talk about this forever, but.
I could go, man. This is 3 years worth of information I've been gathering, being built up. So
well,
I'm planning to do a formal... I guess review would be the term of it, but just kind of my impressions and my thoughts of it. Stream of consciousness.
Yeah.
At some point.
Cool. I'll look forward to that. Hopefully coming to the YouTube channel soon enough. All right. Well, I think that's all we have for the show. We didn't touch on a single news story.
Don't matter, man.
Don't matter. The only thing I just want to shout out real quick is so happy that Amy Hennig is back making a Star Wars game. That's all I want to say.
Yes.
Amy Hennig is back making a Star Wars game. We did it. She's finally there.
Third time's a charm.
This is
going to happen, and it's going to be... Kojima, put it on the board. This game is going to be better than Fallen Order. Way better than Fallen Order. Put it on the board. Put it on the board.
Jr., you heard it here first. Go ahead and throw that bad boy on the board. Better than Fallen Order. I'm stoked for that. But, all right, here we go. Outro time. Thank you all so much for listening to the show. We appreciate each and every one of you for just chilling with us. Even when it's a night like tonight where we're like, you know what? Screw it. We're just going to have fun, chit-chat, and do our own thing. So thanks for listening. Thanks for hanging out. Again, if you like this kind of format, I don't know if this podcast would ever fully turn into that, but that's kind of what we're hoping that that Super Later Boys podcast turns into if we ever hit that goal on Patreon. That would be the monthly podcast. And who knows, maybe if we like it, it'd be more often.
Not if we, when we
do it.
Positive mental attitude.
We originally said it'd be a monthly podcast, but I mean, if it's fun, maybe it'd be more often than that. So support us over at Patreon. We'd love to do something like this more often. Patreon.com/SuperGamerBoys. You can get episodes early and ad-free. You can get show notes. You can get shout-outs on the show. You can pitch us segments. And again, help us hit that goal, $100 a month, where we can bring you another show for you. You can also support us by going to sgbstore.com, get some merch. We got t-shirts, we got masks, we got stickers, we got mugs, lots of fun stuff over there. Rate and review us on your favorite podcast apps. On YouTube, make sure you give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel so you know when new videos and episodes go live, and then leave a comment. Like we mentioned before, that helps tremendously with episodes being found through the YouTube algorithm. Comments, thumbs ups and comments, that helps a lot. So watch the videos if you can all the way through, because that's another thing. Some people will watch like the first 15, 20 minutes and then it's like, okay, well, that's not good for the algorithm either. So watch as much as you can. Leave those comments, leave the thumbs up. And I've noticed on the last couple episodes, a lot of people have been doing it after we talked about it before. So thank you for everyone who has been doing it. You can, quick shout out to Jack Sriracha again and Yate for allowing us to use their music. Remember, Find them on Spotify or Apple Music. Fantastic tunes there. I play mostly just the instrumental stuff, but I think there's some other songs that have more, not necessarily like singing, but there's just like words and lyrics in the background that are happening. There's very cool stuff over there, so check out their music. You can find us during the week at supergamerboys.com, Twitter and Instagram at supergamerboys. I am on Twitter and Instagram at gmorlang. Adrian, where can they find you at?
You can find me any and everywhere at Homeboy.
And JJ, where can they find you at?
Well, you can always find me on Instagram and Twitter, and that's at JJ Prudham.
Alrighty. Well, that's all I got for the show this week. JJ,
we're out of here.
Take us away.
Yeah, this was totally cool. Getting to just hang out with you guys and do things a little bit different. Make sure to tune in this Friday as the Suplex City Wrestling Podcast with myself and Scott Falder drops a new episode. This week, the main topic of the show is going to be, if you have a friend, let's call him Garrett, who's never seen professional wrestling before. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing a series over the next several weeks. We as wrestling fans love the art of pro wrestling so much that a lot of times it's like, okay, if you were just to get one match for this person to watch, what would it be? So this week, the main topic of the show is me choosing one match, one singles match that I would have Garrett or somebody who's never seen pro wrestling watch, and what would it be and why. So that's going to be the main topic this episode. And then over the next several weeks, we'll go through tag team matches, Scott's pick for these different matches, specialty matches. If you could only have one match, is it a big steel cage match? Is it, a barbed wire fire stick on a pole match? Whatever it is. And we'll be talking about it the next several weeks on the Suplex City Wrestling Podcast. But for this show, for the Super Gamer Boys, for Adrian Homeboy Holmes, who's soon to be one of the founding members of the Playdate Nation. And for Garrett, Googling constantly during the show, Morlang, and myself.
I will not deny it.
Well, it's completely on. Dude, your eyes are all over the board, as are your fingers. And for his demonic children. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is JJ, Juicy JJ Purdom, and we are the Super Gamer Boys.
And we'll catch you on the flippity flop.
Thank God. Back to cranking.
Yeah, I don't know if your sound was messed up, dude, but I could hear your kids beating the crap out of each other. I don't know.
Oh, shoot. Oh.